Hello and welcome to my channel where we start every vlog with a laundry cameo. Okay, so reading vlog. It is Monday the 12th, first day of Vaultathon. So I am going to try and run over real fast. Did I get the group book? No, of course I didn't get the group book. Where is the, oh, there is the group book. Long story short, it's Vaultathon. So let's talk about what I am reading. It is also middle grade magic right now, and so I'm gonna try and read some of those books as well while I am Vaultathoning. The main thing this week is The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. This is our group book for Vaultathon. As you can see, I have started separating things and then my lunch break ended. I have to get 70 pages of this read every single day for 6 days to stay on track. And I'm going to try and stay on track because I have other books that I want to read. So I'm going to try and get those pages read like pretty quickly each day. I haven't done that yet today. I'm on the prologue. The other books that are on my Vaultathon TBR, we have The Labyrinth's Archivist by Day Al-Mohammed. This is a novella, so I figure I'll probably be able to get through it pretty quickly. This is the one that's going to count for, I don't remember. Oh, Court of Miracles, which is to read a book with something hidden. I also have The Stars of Whistling Ridge by Cindy Baldwin. This is going to count for The Bells of Notre Dame, which is a book with a beautiful cover. I absolutely adore this cover. I hope I adore this book. This is a middle grade, so it will be counting also for my middle grade magic TBR. Some of which I will actually be reading during the middle grade magic readathon, which is this week, and some of which I will not be. And then the final one, which is to cover a book by or about someone with a disability, is Who Fears Death by Nnedi Okorafor. Nnedi Okorafor, I don't know about the main character, but I know Nnedi Okorafor is a disabled author. My audiobook this week, since it is middle grade magic, I put down Truth Witch for now. Nope, not Truth Witch, Witch Shadow. I put that down for now because I had a library book that I need to finish this week, so I'm going to try to, and that is Shah and the End of Time by Roshni Chokshi. This is a middle grade magic pick. Do I remember what it was supposed to cover? No, I don't. But we're going to try to at least get a couple of those books read during the actual readathon, and then I'm just going to continue my middle grade magic reading into the rest of the month to finish the books that I have, because they're all books. One of them I know I enjoy because it's a favorite. I have things to do. I need to go put some dinner on. I'm going to go. Oh, no, I'm not. Where did I put it? I got some packages. Or a package. So I got my May and June stickers for the Avengers Initiative Reading a Challenge from Mom Always Plans. I have finally started putting mine in my bullet journal. Where is it? No, it's this way. Okay, so so far I've got the first 3 that I was working on, which are Captain America, Thor, I need to fix because I accidentally tore Thor. And the Hulk, which were the first 3 that I was going to focus on, and then I'm going to get the rest of the Avengers in here. They each get a page. Is that a good idea when I'm trying to make this bullet journal last for my entire year? Probably not, but this is what happens when you skip months at a time. Like, we have January, February, March, and then June. I need to go in and fill in like what books I read for each one, but I'm going to put like started and finished. I don't remember when I finished this. And check off all of these little guys. That should be fun. All right, and then I got new ones. So let's Gotcha. So I got May and June. That is, oh, there's a little note. Yay, thank you. No, thank you, Cassie, for doing all of this. Okay, so let me open these up. I love how she always has this little sticker here. Do I remember what my TBR was for any of my May books? No, and I didn't put that as a video, so we might have problems. Like that, I filmed it and I just never put it on my channel because by the time I was ready to like edit it, it was June or something. Okay, so she always adds like these little stickers, like extras for shopping with her. And then we have the May Avengers, which that means we have Star-Lord and Gamora, and then Agent Phil Coulson, and then we have the group book, and she is also including like little guys that you can use when you use their powers. I may just use them to decorate the pages. And then for June, we have Valkyrie and Loki. And, oh God, we added another. I like it when we have months with 2. I wish we had more months with 2, but every time we have a month with 2, they're like, no, Margaret, let's add another one. Yes, I'm shading my fellow co-hosts. Am I going to finish all of these by the end? Am I even going to get to use their powers before they disappear? I don't know! And then we have the little, thing that shows boop, boop, boop. And I don't know, I have to see if she's gotten July up, because I need to get to July as well. I've got to go do things. Thank you. Bye. Look at that! Who's on time?
We're wanting each other. That's insane.
I was about to update my vlog on where I am with this rather odd book.
Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna turn off mine now and we can talk about it.
Okay, well I'm gonna let them watch me.
Oh, perfect.
So like, it's weird. I'm liking it so far. I'm reading Who Fears Death. I'm like into part 2. But the thing about it is like Nnedi Okorafor doesn't really, there's no apparent plot right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just okay.
As with all of her books, yeah.
Yes, and well, I felt like Akana Witch definitely had a trajectory that you could see, and Binti did. This you can tell is earlier because this is very much just like a character study. I also highly recommend just knowing a few things about what's happened in Africa before you read this one, because you're gonna miss like half of it probably, at least 90% of it. So, like...
I think for me, I have degree in that.
So, like, if I hadn't have already read, like, Stay With Me and got, like, Baba Segi's Wives and a couple of her other book, Akana Witch, like, if I hadn't have already read some of these, there's a lot I feel like I would have been missing.
Nigerian history is, like, big and complicated, so
good
to have a background in it.
Yes. But it's nice how she's like you can tell this particular like conflict is very Africa-centric. Like, it's not like the typical, oh, we have black people and white people. It's like, these are two, like, very distinctly African cultures that are clashing. And I liked that.
You gotta read The Cost of Knowing, man. Holy shit. I was fucking sobbing and I was like, they're just babies! Because the brothers are 16 and 12. And
oh my god.
They're just babies.
The one thing I do wish we had a little bit more of, like, is knowing what age she is when things happen, because there's one point where, like, she's getting involved with this guy, and I'm like, I don't know if I should be okay with it or not, because the last I heard, she was 11, and he's talking about being 14, and he's older than 14 now. She was 14. So, like, I think he's, like, 15, 16, which still...
Dubious consent.
Dubious. But they also have not gotten into a relationship just yet. I think there's been one kiss.
Haven, do you want to say hi to Margaret?
But, anyways. Oh, doggies! Doggies! We're turning this around so you can see doggies. Yeah! Can you tell my poor dog-starved self?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how people who do this primarily in their car do this, but we have food. We have a drink. Well, we have a couple drinks. So, let's go ahead. What did I do with my straw? I had a straw. I'm very sad. Starbucks apparently does no longer carry lemonade. Which, I mean, what I make at home, or not lemonade, they don't carry apple juice anymore, so I can't do my concoction. Which, I mean, what I can make at home is already better than what I can get at Starbucks, because I do it more concentrated. Ugh. They even put sweetener in. You just deal with the fact that my steering wheel is in your way, and I'm going to switch to the one that's not very sour, honestly. We're on day 2 of the Avengers Initiative Reading Challenge boss battle for Ultron. So, like, food. Ooh, those are hot. I am currently in the middle of 2 books. Where did I put it? Okay, well, Sound of Stars is right here. So there it is. Okay, so I'm on page 150 of The Sound of Stars. I think this is going to be my main, what I am trying to read today, because I've got, like, 200 something pages, I think, before, yeah, a little more than 200 pages before we get to the end. I'm really enjoying this. Like, when you know how this ends and how things come together at the end of the book, like, there is so much detail that Alicia Dow, like, put in ahead of freaking time. And I'm just like sitting there going, like, things that there were a couple of things that I was just like, I don't know, that might be a little sudden, maybe that's a little too soon. And then, like, no, she's been planting it since the beginning. And of course, I didn't figure out the significance of the songs until like 3/4 of the way through the book, when it becomes very obvious what the significance of the songs is. So really enjoying rereading this. I'm glad we picked it, or I picked it, I guess. And then I'm also listening to Who Fears Death by Nnedi Okorafor. This is for people who like books that are like characters and vibes. I do not suggest it if you need a good, strong, like very obvious plot, like we're getting from point A to point B. Not a great book for you. This is a lot about characters. This is a lot about like just, so she does a lot of examination of, I guess, genocide, of violence between people, of the things that make us fight each other. And it's refreshing because, as I said last night, it's from a different lens than the kind of dystopian narratives that we are used to. It's also a slightly different storytelling format than I think people make work a lot of the time. But the plot is not necessarily linear. She goes back and forth quite a bit in this character's head because this character is telling you this story, but she doesn't tell you from beginning to end. She'll start telling you something, or she'll tell you like a big chunk of it, but she'll also backtrack to other things. It's like, oh yeah, this is important for you to know. Here's some context for what's going on here. I will say it is very, very dark. Just know that, well, not, yeah, dark. It's like, there are trigger warnings for this one, because it is a book about a girl whose mother was raped, and about the fact that there is one set of people trying to annihilate the other set of people. So just know that going into it. But it is so good. Like, really good. So, like, I enjoy it. As far as the challenge goes, I'm doing pretty well. I need to participate in one more sprint today. And then we've got tomorrow's final battle that's going to be happening. And we're trying to figure out if there's a way we can, at this point, make a few tweaks so that people who are in Europe aren't like completely screwed, because it's like it's really late for them, like in the middle of the night for them, which I totally understand. But at the same time, we're all in basically, or we're all functioning from Eastern time, because that's where most of us live, that are running the readathon. So there's only so much we can do, because we have to be able to like also run the readathon, and we have to cut it off at a certain point, because we have work and jobs and other stuff as well that we have to do. And it's funny, people seem to kind of forget that fact when they bring stuff up. Like, we're all in the same time zone, we all have jobs, so we're going to be at work around the same time. So if there is something going on, like, we're going to work through it too. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, we are going to have, like we get it. We get how frustrating it is to have to do this through work. Think about how, like, to participate through it when you're having work. Think about how frustrating it is when you have to run this thing and also, like, find ways to do that while you're working. I'm doing okay. I did the first challenge, obviously, that, like, was to read, for 2 hours? That was easy to knock out while I was working. And then the 200 pages I did struggle with. Probably if we had not been running sprints last night, I probably could have managed. But I finally was just like, you know what, I have Steve. I'm going to use Steve to change my 200 pages to 100 pages. And so I did. And then I also have Maria Hill and Falcon on my thing thus far. I will sit down and, like, break down what Avengers I have added to my team since I sat down with my TBR. Because I have a whole bunch at this point. Mostly the newer ones, because I was focusing on the ones that I knew would be useful in this challenge. Or not the newer ones, the older ones. I was focusing on the ones I knew would be useful in this challenge. Like, I have Maria, so if I need to, I can swap out for, like, Fury, or I can swap out for Thor, because I have Thor now. I've had Thor since last night. Bree had completed Thor's book, so I used her completion of the Viking prompt to complete the Viking prompt for me, because it was the only prompt I had left. I might still read the Viking book I was planning on reading. We'll see. Anyways, and then today, we're working on, like, you need to do 2 reading sprints between now and 2 p.m. Eastern time. So we've got, like, the whole day to participate in reading sprints, so that way people who have work and stuff like that, they have a chance. But I think I'll be done by the end of the night because I'm going to go participate in Bree's sprints here in a minute that she's doing for Vaultathon. And then, whoops, I forgot to pause that. And then I'm also helping Christine host sprints tonight because she needs someone who is able to stay up until midnight to keep her awake. So anyways, that's where we are. Got a book. You can't see it because you're sitting on it. Maybe I'll show you later. I figure any book that makes Christine cry is worth picking up, so I went and picked it up. Hello. We are here. I don't remember the last time I talked to you was, but we are here on a Monday because this vlog is over. So if you missed it, we did the live show for Vaultathon, talking about the Hunchback of Notre Dame and the book, The Sound of Stars. It's sitting right here. Anyways, let's talk about the books you would have seen me read in this vlog. I got through Shah and The End of Time. This was not a Vaultathon pick. This is for middle grade magic. And I managed to finish this Thursday night. Like I sat and I just read all the way through until it was finished so that I would be able to go into the Avengers Age of Ultron challenge with a new audiobook. So my original TBR, I don't know if I discussed it, my original TBR was Who Fears Death by Nadia Corfor, The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow, and The Labyrinth's Archivist by Day Al-Mohammed. I'm still going to get to this at some point, but I did end up swapping this out with Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. I finished, so besides Shah, I also finished these two. Who Fears Death? Oh, I gave this, hold on. I gave Shah 4 stars. I really liked it. I thought it was a really good start to this series. It really introduces you to the characters. It jumps into the action really fast. I thought Aru was so, like, just relatable as a mess of a human. I'm like, you're a child. It's okay that you're messy. But also, I relate. I totally get where she's coming from. With all of, like, the insecurity and wanting to have, like, not having good, I had good friends, but, like, having friendship insecurities. Lots of them. It also really made me want to pick up the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. I really just, like, I want to see these stories that she was talking about in this book. So I think we might see me do that sometime later in this year, possibly. It depends. There's a lot that I want to read this year. For the audiobook that I read during the duration of Age of Ultron, I ended up reading Who Fears Death by Nadia Corfor. This is one of the books, I believe, it's going to fulfill stuff on my Black Panther board. It also fulfills stuff for Vaultathon, and I think it might fulfill stuff for another readathon because a lot of these, like, just, I doubled and tripled them up because I was trying to be smart. This was really, like, I think I talked a little bit about how I really enjoyed the fact that, like, you could tell that this was a dystopian with the African continent and African, or not specifically, let's back up. So this is specifically set in or inspired by events that happened in Sudan. So you could tell the influence of the cultures that Nadia Corfor is familiar with, the ones that she grew up in and grew up around. I really, really liked the fact that, like, it wasn't like your usual dystopian. Like, she did it so well. There were times that you would kind of forget that it was dystopian almost. You'd almost start to think maybe this is a fantasy. And then there would just be these little sprinkles, these little hints that are like, no, this is our world. It's just gone through a freaking apocalypse. I liked that setup. I liked some of the commentary that you're sitting there. It's a lot about men and women's gender roles, kind of subverting that or turning that on its head. There's a lot about how men treat women in here. Obviously, because this is about a woman whose mother was raped and that's how she came to be, there's a lot about like violence against women. And some of it is not some of it is casual violence, like things that are done to girls. I will say there is some mention of female genital mutilation in here. That's a key plot point in this book. So she nails this with setting, with character. It was fantastic in those respects. However, there were just, like, and I say this as someone who's a character-driven reader, but, like, the plot, there wasn't any tension or urgency for most of this book, which is fine. That's a vibe. But I felt like there are places where you are really lost with, okay, where are we going? Why are we going there? And I wish that particular question had kind of been, like, she tells you from the beginning that she's going to end up leaving her home and that there's stuff that's going on. But I really wish that, like, there'd been maybe a little more tension in the plot and a little bit more clarity in what the actual plot was. Because there were a lot of places where you're saying, okay, but what is this book about? Like, what are we trying to accomplish? What does this character want? What's going on with them? Definitely not one I think that will work for everyone, but it's still one that's worth reading and looking into. I'm not mad. Like, I'm not mad I read it. I would definitely read it again. It's not going to go on my favorites shelf. And then I also reread The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. This was the Vaultathon group book for round 7. This covers all of the book-related prompts. All of the prompts, actually, because it was Rita. So, long story short, I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed this as much the first time as the second time. I think that there were small, like, nitpicky things in the writing this time around that I noticed more than I did when I was listening to it as an audiobook. Just places where I'm like, we didn't need a whole conversation for this. You could have just summarized a lot of that. And a lot of that was like where she was repetitive, or she would give information in a way that was weird and a little bit off-putting, and you'd just be like, wait, what? Can you word a sentence that way? I mean, you can. Technically, there's nothing grammatically wrong with it, but I'm confused. However, I absolutely love how well she does representation in this book. I especially love the fact that the main character is Demi, and that she just, like, there's a quote in here that talks about, like, her definition or how she feels as a demisexual, and, like, that's exactly, like, the definition of demisexual that fits me. So I absolutely adore it. I love the relationship between Ellie and Morris. I know it's, like, a book that takes place over 12 days, but it's this wonderful, slow build where it doesn't feel unnatural when she starts to fall for him. I also like the fact that you have both Ellie and Morris's point of view, because I think that this could be a very iffy book for some people if you didn't know things about Morris that you find out in his point of view. Ellie falling for him would not seem as believable to me if it were not that we were seeing who Morris was on the inside, personally. Like, we know, like, we go into it knowing, okay, like, there's a reason he's the main character, there's a reason that it's him, and you can kind of see how Ellie is starting to get glimpses of that, and you're like, no, just keep going with that, girl. Just keep going with that. I completed every single prompt for the readathon using those 2 books and Nick Fury. We got to a point, I was like, there's no way I'm getting, like, as many pages as I needed. So we just used Nick Fury for the final challenge so that I would be able to get all of the rewards for this readathon. Although, I mean, the last one is relatively a small one. I also, though, did start Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. I got, I don't know, like 12 chapters into this. It's good. I like it so far. This is about a girl who, her brother dies in battle, and her clan, well, I'm not going to go into that, but, like, her brother dies in battle, and then 5 years later, she sees him on the battlefield, and she's like, wait, what? And so she goes after him and ends up getting kidnapped because he's like, you are going to expose me and get me killed, and so he kidnaps her and takes her back to where he has been living. So far, it's good. I'm enjoying it. We'll see how it goes. I can sense where the romance is probably going to go. I kind of like it, because they're kind of antagonistic, but he's also kind of trying to help her because, like, it's really funny because, like, he cares about her brother. Like, they're really close, and so he's like, I don't like you. You are my mortal enemy. But he asked me, so I guess I gotta do it. I love it. Those are the videos that no, those aren't videos. Those aren't videos. Those are books. So those are the books that I ended up reading this week. My general thoughts on them. Obviously, some of them we'll talk about later. That is you would think, as often, I do this every week, you would think that I would have it down how I go out of videos. Now, long story short, I'm a mess. So, we're gonna scoot over so you can when there are videos over here, there will be room for the videos over there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoyed it, check out some of these other videos over here, because if you liked this one, you might like one of these. And if you end up liking these as well, please, if you're new here, do hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. What's next? That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!